Hey folks, everything new under the sun. Here's your Bible prophecy update for September 5th, 2023. A lot of things going on and a lot of interesting things to talk about. And we're just going to go through the headlines that I think you should be aware of, and stuff that I'm tracking, and also stuff you've probably heard before. But here's the first one. This is your hedge. The U.S. government is bankrupt, and you probably knew that. They've been bankrupt for a while, ever since 2008, and even before that. That was the collapse of the government. After that, they just went into emergency money printing. But yes, the government spending has bankrupted the U.S., and that's what Peter Schiff is saying. And so when the economy collapses, what do governments all throughout history do? Well, they go to war to steal someone else's wealth to pay their bills. They steal someone's gold, silver, or in modern times, they steal people's oil, or they just attempt to control other countries and therefore, subvert them and subjugate them into their own, financial system, and attempt to control power. And keep the world reserve currency, which right now is the U.S. dollar. Of course, that's changing rapidly with the BRICS bunch of nations. So, as the economy gets worse, as the government continues to get bankrupt, and before the citizens of the United States in totality really understand what's happening, most of them are blissfully ignorant about what is happening, they will go to war. So before civil unrest occurs, they will take you to war. This is kind of breaking news. The FAA has canceled United Airlines nationwide. There's a ground stop, and that's because they have equipment failure. Now, this is your hedge again. FAA or Fox Business is reporting, as per FAA advisory, the grounding is due to equipment failure. Isn't it interesting how all these equipment failures are happening? Now, this has happened a few times over the last year and a half or so, and not very many people are asking the question: could this be attempted cyber attack? Is this kind of poking the U.S. in the eye, as the U.S. has been poking Putin in the eye with various things, escalations? Is Putin sending a message back to us? Oops, a fire in a meat processing plant. Oops, a fire at a refinery. Oops, an explosion there. Oops, was it the NOTAMs? I think that was last year. The NOTAMs were unavailable in U.S. and Canada. Oops, all flights are grounded because of quote-unquote equipment failure. People, when you see these headlines, this is not a normal thing. Yes, we are in a technological world where these things do happen time and time again, but the explosions and the fires at the massive processing plants, this is not all coincidence, folks. This is happening way too often. This is likely Putin, and the intelligence agencies know it. This is Putin saying, back off, United States. We can do these things. And you just have to ask yourself, when is the big one coming? That beeping in the background was my UPS. Did Russia just take out my electricity? Well, not so far. That's just a factor of, having off-grid systems. Sometimes the solar goes away or something happens, or there's a drag on the system. But anyways, yes, equipment failure. This is technology. Everything's connected now. This will be happening more and more. CNN. This is interesting. So CNN had Dr. Fauci on for an interview, and CNN was now questioning the mask mandates. Fauci squirms as he realizes not even CNN will go blindly along with the mask mandates this time. So CNN, of all the fear porn websites that told you and I and everybody that this was science, is coming out against us now, because I think they realize their viewership doesn't believe this anymore. So incredible. Let's continue on. Kim Jong-un. This is dnyuz.com. Kim Jong-un and Putin plan to meet in Russia and discuss weapons. So Kim Jong-un has been, a puppet of China for a long time, and has got a lot of resources and technology through China, because they're sanctioned otherwise from Western nations. Now Russia is directly and they have been is directly involved with them, and discussing weapons and discussing what they have and how they could cooperate probably, and how they could probably create an alliance against NATO. against North America, against United States specifically. Kim Jong-un has a lot of nuclear weapons. If Russia and North Korea align themselves, it would be hard to go up against these two powers lobbing nuclear weapons, or even probably worse in this day and age, cyber attacks. To be absolutely honest with you, nuclear weapons may kill a bunch of people, but if you were to take out the electronics, via a massive cyber attack, or the banking system, that would destroy the United States, Canada, all Western nations without a shot fired. So, folks, I think what they're doing is not getting their nuclear weapons ready. I think they're getting their hackers ready, their military Secret Service hackers ready to do some damage. So here's one of the things I think you should be paying attention to. Invest 95L. Many people have been talking about this. There are suggestions that could reach Category 4 hurricane. Now, the spaghetti models weren't that interesting until recently. Now, they don't show that they're hitting Florida. Florida already got its hit. They're not going to hit necessarily East Coast to U.S., although there will be some issues with flooding and surge, etc. there. The latest spaghetti models almost look as if they're coming up into Nova Scotia. So this could be a hit on Nova Scotia, Newfoundland. And so you see in the image there, intensity models show big development late week for this Invest 95L. All eyes on the Atlantic as hurricane season near peak. So here is the image. This is we're nearly at the peak of the hurricane season, which would be mid-September. Basically, we're just ahead of it. You can see the line there. We are here, and so we would expect hurricanes to be forming right now, and for the next basically 2 months, up through November 1st even. So here is the spaghetti models. You can see Invest 95L, and the latest ones that I've seen are actually looping up, over top Bermuda, and even curving back towards the East Coast, even U.S. East Coast, and somewhere between, kind of, I guess, New York there and Nova Scotia, somewhere up in there. So that's very interesting. And so here's the predictions you can see in the image here of the potential strength of the storm up through Saturday. You're getting into Cat 2, Cat 3, and even Cat 4 predictions or models. Now let's take a look at Ventus Guy. Now this is something I showed prior. So you got East Coast United States over here, and up here you've got Nova Scotia, of course. Of course, we had Fiona last year, and that was significant. You can see a low pressure system, happening right there. Now if I scroll here, and right in the middle you can see 95L. So this is Invest 95L. So what we're going to do is we're going to move this ahead. And you can take this and hit the, you can't see the bottom there. Let's see, let's do this. Let me scroll up here, resize that a little bit. There we go. So now you can see this little date picker. So Ventus Guy, just the name up in the top left corner there, .com. And you can step through this. So you can go to the 6th, still 95L, go to the 7th. You can see it moving along. And now it goes into a low pressure. It doesn't show the 95L anymore, but we're tracking with it right in the center there. Go to Saturday, and it's right there heading towards the United States. Let's jump ahead to the 12th. And you can see now it's really getting really low pressure there as it's marching towards, Florida. Now, look at this. We skipped to the 14th, and now it went straight up, straight north. Significant low pressure. You can see basically a nor'easter. This is effectively will be coming up on Charlotte there, heading up towards New York. Let's go to the 15th. There you can see it coming by New York, the 15th. And one more day, if we go one more day there, it is right over top Nova Scotia, heading to cross Prince Edward Island. And so, what's the strength of this going to be at that point in time? Will it be a hurricane? It's not going to be a Category 4 hurricane. Will it be a Category 1 hurricane as it gets there? But this is the question. Will it dive into the land, or will it stay in the water? If it stays in the water, it will continue to increase in strength. Let's step ahead. So 969 millibars. If we go ahead And oops, let's go back up to the 16th here. So 969 millibars. Let's go to 17th, and it is, I can't quite see it. I think it's 982. It says millibars there. Yeah, 982. So it's increasing pressure. So it's losing strength basically at that point. So it's not as low as it was back there. So anyways, interesting to see this. So this could be hitting, again, the U.S. East Coast, and this could turn out to be a significant storm. So go to ventusguy.com and you can find this. But this is the one to watch. They're suggesting this could turn into a Category 4 hurricane. And again, as we look at kind of the peak season here for hurricanes, if there's any chance for it to go to a Category 4, we would be in that peak heat of the water, peak heating season and time when the waters are absolute warmest they could be at the end of summer after the sun's been shining down on them all summer long. So pay attention, folks. Be ready, be prepared. I hope you are. And I'll leave it there. As always, we'll see you in the next video.